The Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, Most Reverend Ignatius Kaigama, has mourned the death of the Holy Father, Pope Francis, who died on Easter Monday at the age of 88. Archbishop Kaigama described the late pontiff as a holy man who is close to the poor and downtrodden.
Very tragic, very sad event for not only the 1.4 billion Catholics in the world, but also for humanity. Because the Pope Francis, was a friend to Muslims, to Buddhists, Hindus. He had no boundaries, he had no barriers. Everybody mattered. Humanity, I would say, was his constituency. So we have lost a very great leader, a world leader, a moral authority. I would say somebody who was a moral compass, because he spoke on moral issues, ethical issues, and he identified with the poor and marginalized and the downtrodden. So he was a great leader.
The Chief Shepherd of Abuja Archdiocese also encouraged the faithful to continue to pray for God to give the Catholic Church a Pope that will be as holy as Pope Francis.
A Pope in the last 12 years has been very, very active. I would say almost hyperactive, because he wasn't resting. He was always on duty, if not in the Vatican, out elsewhere. And he was a person who embraced all of humanity, whether there is problem in Ukraine, or whether it is in Central African Republic, whether it is in South America, wherever there is an issue, he is there. And he wants to fully identify. So definitely a leader of such magnitude and significance will be missed. The poor will miss him a lot, because he spoke for them. He was very clear about the dignity of the poor person. We in Africa, for instance, he spoke strongly about the tendency of the West to engage in what he called colonialism of some sort. And he spoke strongly about being colonized again, and ideologically, that is. So it was called ideological colonization.
Kaigama is also optimistic that the choice of the Pope will not be any challenge, as the Church will embrace any Pope elected, whether from Africa, Asia, America, or Europe.
Historically, we are told there were popes that were black, but that was maybe in the early centuries of the Church. But in modern times, there hasn't been any black pope. And who says a black person cannot be a pope? Any baptized Catholic, in theory, can be a pope. They can decide to choose anybody who is an ordinary Christian, Catholic. They can ordain him and promote him until he becomes a pope. A lay person has been appointed and made a pope, but goes through the process of ordination and all that. But in reality, only a limited circle is, there is a focus on a limited cycle of the cardinals. So you expect that the Pope will come from the cycle of cardinals, because they are, a few, they are closer to the Pope and to what happens in the Vatican. And so they are in a better position to manage the church than just bringing somebody from somewhere far away who has no knowledge of the Vatican, inside workings and so on. So an African can be Pope. We have some cardinals who are Africans. They have the same chance as anybody from America, anybody from Europe. So it is possible that an African will be Pope. But what we are praying for is not for an African Pope, a black Pope, an American Pope, an Asian Pope. No, we are praying for a good and holy Pope who can be black, Asian, American, European. It's possible. So we don't want to be defining ourselves by political, language that, oh, it must be from Africa this time. This is our chance in Africa. No, no, no. It is open. The Holy Spirit is able to act, and he can choose from anywhere. It's possible from Africa, possible from Europe, anywhere. And what is important is that whoever emerges, the 1.4 billion Catholics will all unanimously embrace that person as the Holy Father.
Nigerian political leaders Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar have expressed deep sorrow over the death of Pope Francis, describing him as a beacon of moral leadership and a voice for the poor and marginalized. Pope Francis died on Monday at the age of 88, a day after making a public appearance during Easter Sunday celebrations at St. Peter's Square.